Do you always have to agree with a respected person's advice, someone you trust? My mentor advised me something, but my gut tells me not to follow that advice.
If that's consistently happening, then you have the wrong mentor, which is fine. Like, not that may not be the right fit for you, right? To Zane's, focus, follow one coach until successful. Great. Zane doesn't have to listen to me, but if he doesn't want to listen to me, then I'm not the right coach. Go find somebody else. Awesome.
But I have to because he's been right so many times.
Well, I mean that's the conundrum, I guess, that you get into that you got to figure out. But you don't have to listen to that person. But if they're giving you, like, if they've been right, then give them the benefit of the doubt. And if it's wrong, like, a good mentor will push you to do things that you didn't think you could do. Right? So is it actually a gut feeling, or are you just scared? I think a lot of times we're afraid of something and we just shroud in, oh, my guts tell me not to do it. Well, maybe. But is it actually an ethical thing that is just not right? Or is it just strategy? Because they probably know strategy better than you. Right? Like, talking to Zan about strategy on about the coaching business is if I didn't love Zan so much, it's ridiculous. Because he hasn't done the thing. I've done the thing. He hasn't done the thing. So, like, what are you fighting with the mentor over? If the mentor's asking you to do something that is against your values, then that is not the guy for you, or the woman for you. You should be moving on and doing something else. And if it's happening, if it's a one-off, then that doesn't matter. But if it's happening consistently, then you need to really get your head right to say, I am going to listen to this person and give it 3 months, 6 months, and see what happens, and stop fighting and stop arguing and stop thinking I know what the right answer is when I don't. Or I'm going to go find a different mentor, and I'm not going to waste time. Both are fine options. But it's the middle ground that sucks.
I just want to know. I just like, what, he said, because he's talking about his gut. So when it's from your gut, it's hard to, it's hard to reason with gut.
Yeah, but people don't classify gut wrong. Like, if you're saying, hey, it should be both at the same time, they're complementary. It's like, it's just that's not a gut feeling. That's just bad strategy.
But yeah, that's not a gut for me. It's just logically it makes sense.
Right, but logically based off of what? Like, you haven't done it before. So that's where people will say, huh?
But I want to say I have, but I've seen other people do it. But I have kind of done it before.
Well, then go do it, right? Like, that's where, if you think that that's the right strategy, then go do it. Don't listen to me, and go do it. Like, it's not worth fighting over.
It's a different industry. It's a different industry. In the DJ industry, when I created something like that, and they follow the course outline I gave them, I was able to show them how to hold a mic and how to interact with the crowd. But they already had the text, the mental stuff already beforehand. So when I showed them certain things or use certain languages, they can refer back to the PDF that I had gave them.
But so this is where this
is a different industry, though.
But this is why when people say, I can't get a good mentor, this is the problem. Most mentees suck. Like, we're spending time convincing of what to do instead of actually just doing the work.
Right.
That is not the work any mentor wants to do. Nobody wants to sit there and hold your hand. It's like, hey, this is what you need to do. And if they're just going to sit there, and now I'm not just talking about Zen, in general, this is what people do. If you're just going to sit there and complain about it and find why it doesn't work and why your gut tells you that it's not the right decision, on and on, a mentor doesn't want to be a part of that. It's like, hey, I told you what to do. I've done this. This is how it works. Here's my advice. The best thing you do is go do it. Don't complain about it. Or go find a different mentor. Like, if you think that that's the plan, great, awesome. This is not the mentor for you. Go find somebody else.
Just do the work. At the end of the day, just do the work.
Or find somebody else. It's not saying that he's right. I'm not saying that your mentor is right. But if he's not right, if it really is against your gut, if he's asking you to do things that you just can't get on side with, then go find somebody else. But this being stuck in limbo is what really hurts.
Oh, Dave, this is good. Dave, your mentor's right. Period. Okay, here's what he said. This is what he's saying. And Dave, I don't know what your mentor told you, but he's right. Because I give the exact same advice. I used to be the same guy. I used to be that same guy, and I had to correct myself. I think Evan probably had some influence on me, but I know that you have to get to this point. And it goes against everything when you're like this. Okay, here we go. Dave says, it's not consistent. Just the last piece of advice he gave me, he told me only to focus on one thing at a time in my business. But as a person, I thrive on doing multiple things at once. He is right, Dave Johnson.
But here's your option, Dave. Go do it yourself. Go do it without him and then see what happens. Are you better or worse? Right? Everything needs to be results based. Is it working?
Here's the focus thing, Dave. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to show it to you. This is why it's so important, Dave, if this helps you a little bit. Your mentor is right. You better listen, man. I'm telling you, you better listen. Because you're going to come back and have all that time would have been wasted. I'm telling you, this is how it works, Dave. I know how you feel, man. This right here, this is what Evan was talking about. Right here, it says focus. You got to commit to one thing. Follow one commitment until successful. One. Once you're successful, you move to the next one. I'm not saying it's easy, man, but if you got a really good coach, he's going to encourage you, even get upset at you sometimes. He says, I get bored doing only one thing at a time. If I focus on one thing, I think about the other thing. That's because you're not disciplined. You got to discipline yourself. You got to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, I like combining things. So it's not two different things, but it's two things at once.
That's what he's doing now.
but listen, like do it. Try it your way and see what happens. And then try it his way. Take 2 weeks. Try it his way for 2 weeks and see what happens. Try it your way for 2 weeks and see what happens. Who's better? Like what's getting you more results? What's getting you more momentum? What's making you feel happier? Right? Where you're getting more progress. That's all.
Results don't lie.
I'm not saying that the mentor is always right. The mentor is telling you, I mean, a lot of mentors will tell you how they did it, and they're not actually wearing your skin. To put yourself in their shoes. Like most mentors aren't doing that. They're just telling you how they did it. But still, you don't have to agree with the mentor. But you have to do something. And if you're going to do it your way and not listen to your mentor, then it's disrespectful to keep going back. If you're not going to take the advice, don't go back and keep asking for advice. If he's not the right person for you, great, move on. If you want to sign up and be with him, then do what he says and see what happens. We prejudge things without knowing.